Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here, coach of the Bronx Beartics, and today I have my week 5 battle of the UCL team analysis breakdown. This week I'm going to be playing Game Boy Luke, and let's actually put his team on the screen right now. So, Luke's team consists of Mew, Talonflame, Mega Gyarados, Sylveon, Lucario, Kyurem, Seismitoad, Spiritomb, Sceptile, Weezing, Hitmonchan, and regular Rotom. Now, I do want to note that just because it says Mega Gyarados does not mean that he has to bring Mega Gyarados. He could very well bring regular Gyarados if that is what he wants to do. So if you guys are new to my team building videos and don't even understand what the UCL is, it's a draft league that I'm in for a while. I think there's like 16 weeks. I'm not even sure that I've been participating in. I drafted my team and I've been playing versus specific players every single week. This week is week 5. I'm playing Game Boy Luke. If you guys missed any of the previous battles, there is a playlist down below in the description, or if you missed any of the previous team building videos or team analysis or team breakdown videos, whatever you want to call them, you guys can go ahead and check that out. But this week I am going to be playing Game Boy Luke, and the way I build is that I make sure that my 6, the 6 that I choose to bring, can be any combination of 6 that my opponent wants to bring. And I always stress this because I think this is very important. I think half the battle is prep. I think even more than half the battle can be prep at times. It really just depends on how Pokemon is. And I'm talking about if there's no luck involved. But in any case, so that means if he brings Mew, Talonflame, Mega Gyarados, Sylveon, Lucario, Kyurem, or if he brings Seismitoad, Spiritomb, Sceptile, Lucario, Sylveon, Mega Gyarados, whatever combination he brings, I want to make sure that my team can beat it. Because, again, I stress this every week, but you don't want to not prep for a Pokemon and then have your opponent bring that Pokemon and then just get destroyed by it. So, yeah, that's the way I prep. I actually built my team myself this week. CVV was very busy, and I was going to build with somebody else, but they were also missing in action. So, I was like, okay, let me just build the team myself. Why not? I haven't done that in UCL. I don't think I ever built my team myself in the UCL. I always built it with friends. But in any case, the team we're going to be bringing this week consists of Manaphy, which is the captain of the Bronx Beartics, getting off the, not that they're getting off the bench, but I feel like this is the first matchup that Manaphy has that I'll actually be able to do something with it. Now, Manaphy is such a great Pokemon in League format. I feel being able to see what your opponent wants to bring really solves that 4-move slot syndrome that Manaphy usually has. Like, what I'm talking about is that in OU, for example, let's say I want to bring HP Fire Manaphy with Ice Beam Scald, but my opponent has Mega Venusaur, and I say, okay, let me bring Psychic this time, then my opponent brings Feral Thorn. It's stuff like that. Like, Manaphy doesn't have that issue when it's in League format because you can see what the hell your opponent's going to bring. It's amazing. But in any case, I'm bringing Manaphy this week. Now, we're running our this is not the set. This is the set. We're running a very, very bulky Manaphy, a very, very bulky Tail Glow Manaphy. Enough speed to outspeed his fastest Pokemon that we can possibly outspeed, which is Kyurem. It's regular Kyurem, by the way. Just because I have Kyurem Black doesn't mean he can't have Kyurem. They're 2 separate Pokemon. So I have Manaphy to outspeed the Kyurem, and then I'm running Tail Glow with Scald, Energy Ball, and Dazzling Gleam. Scald pretty much hits everything: Mew, Talonflame, Sylveon, Lucario, Spiritomb, Weezing, Rotom, whereas it also can get the burn off on the Pokemon that it doesn't hit for super effective damage, being Kyurem as well as Sceptile. I have Energy Ball because I do not want to be randomly walled by Seismitoad, and it also hits Mega Gyarados for super effective damage, when Gyarados actually Mega Evolves. And last but not least, I have Dazzling Gleam. Now, I was debating between Ice Beam and Dazzling Gleam, but seeing as how Kyurem would more than likely be his immediate answer to this, and Sceptile can't even knock me out unless it's like Specs or running Leaf Storm or something crazy, I figured Dazzling Gleam would be better, and the main reason I'm also running a very bulky set, as you can see on max HP 36 defense, is because at +3, which is what Tail Glow automatically gives me, I knock out Kyurem 100% after rocks, and pretty much I don't need any special attack investment, to knock out anything on his team. And this defense allows me to take +2 Adamant Brave Bird from Talonflame. I live that 100% of the time. It only does 90% max. I take hits from Spec Sylveon, or 1 hit. I can take Kyurem's modest Spec Draco if he wants to do that. Anyway, I'd be faster than it, so if I knock it out, or if I burn it, it's 100% dead after Stealth Rock. This also allows me to take weaker hits like Giga Drain from Sceptile. Speaking of which, I was actually debating putting Rindo Berry on this, or Wakan. Wakan would obviously be able to take on Rotom, and Rindo Berry would help me with Sceptile, negating the grass, or at least, making the damage be neutral that turn, weakening it. But I figured because I'm not running Ice Beam or anything, and I can't immediately knock out Sceptile anyway, and if Sceptile goes for Giga Drain, it wouldn't matter because Dazzling Gleam doesn't knock it out after Giga Drain recovery. I figured there was no point in actually running Ice Beam or even Rindo Berry, excuse me, simply because I'm not really using this to deal with Sceptile. This can sweep through his team. It's faster than Rotom anyway, unless you Scarf Rotom. I hit from Scarf Rotom just because I'm so bulky. This is why I also love Manaphy. You do not need any investment to do what you need to do. Granted, most of my calcs have to do with rocks or have to need rocks on the field, but the thing about Manaphy is it doesn't even necessarily need rocks to do what it wants to do. If I bring in Manaphy versus, let's say, Talonflame, that's a free Scald. I would say a free Scald because my opponent has to switch, and if they go Kyurem and Kyurem gets burnt, there you go, +3 Tail Glow, Dazzling Gleam, knocked it out. So it's just things like that, like Manaphy can just spam Scald as well. That also prevents me from being frozen by Kyurem's Ice Beam, Lucario's Random Ice Punch, or anything like that. So next up we have CBB, my Snorlax. Now, I want to bring Snorlax this week just because it gives me a check to special attacking Sceptile. It gives me a check to Kyurem because it does have thick fat, so obviously ice type attacks aren't going to be doing too much. It also helps me out versus Will-O-Wisp Mew, and I'll talk about that in a second, as well as giving me a way of beating Rotom down with Pursuit, and just dealing with Specs Sylveon, as I mentioned earlier. Now, we're running a Choice Bandit set with Body Slam, Facade, Fire Punch, and Pursuit. Obviously, Body Slam is like Scald. It's pretty spammable versus his team. He has 2 Ghost types in Spiritomb and Rotom. I'm not too worried about Spiritomb as well because Dazzling Gleam obviously hits that, and this also hits Hitmonchan for super effective damage. But basically, Body Slam just hits his team extremely hard. His Steel types that resist would be his Lucario, which is not necessarily resistant considering after Stealth Rock, Body Slam is a 2-hit KO. I think that's from the Max Attack set, if I'm not mistaken. Let me actually just show you guys the calc. Snorlax, CBB. I did not need Max Attack on this set though, because yeah, as you can see after Stealth Rock, or most of the time I 2-hit KO it. Lucario needs a Life Orb hit anyway. Basically, as long as it cannot set up on me, I'm good to go. But basically the plan is I spam Body Slam with this thing. Don't care if Mew Will-O-Wisps me or if I get Thunder Wave or burnt by Rotom or anything like that. I do not care. Or Talonflame Will-O-Wisps me, which is another reason why I wanted this. Facade does not care about burn. It negates the burn damage and it's doubled in power. It becomes a 70 base power move to 140 if the paralyzes me. And the Spadef and HP is so I can take hits from Specs Sylveon and mainly Kyurem's Specs Draco. I could take 2. Pursuit is there just to trap Rotom, but at the same time it's also to get some chip damage off on Kyurem just in case I'm not able to get up Stealth Rock. If I get off that chip damage on Kyurem, I knock it out again with +3 Dazzling Gleam. So, and I wanted Fire Punch over Earthquake because I never wanted to lock myself into Earthquake versus let's say Lucario, but then give something like Rotom a free switch, and my team, the Pokemon I have left is weak to Rotom, so I want to Fire Punch over that. That way I can always damage something 100%, even if it's Gyarados, and even if it's only for like 5 or 6%. That percentage can make the difference. And this also can take Abandoned Brave Bird from Talonflame. It also helps me with Weezing. The fact that I have Facade, though I'm not going to use this for Weezing necessarily, but the fact that I have Facade means Weezing's Will-O-Wisp does not matter at all. It doesn't necessarily have a way of touching Spiritomb, but I'm not too worried about that. Again, Manaphy just sets up on any type of Spiritomb, does not care. And again, I wanted just a bulkier variant of Snorlax, and pretty much it gets all the 2-hit KOs that I needed with Facade and Body Slam. Again, Facade assuming I'm burnt, but it gets all the 2-hit KOs I needed, which is why I did not end the running Max Attack, and I wanted more of a specialty defensive set. So next up we have Aggron, my Pansa, my Mega Aggron, and we're running even bulkier in special defense than we usually do. I usually run Impish, but we're running 244 max special defense. This is to be able to take on Specs Sylveon and potentially Scarf or Specs. Specs Kyurem better. I'm very, very scared about those. They're just annoying, especially Sylveon. I have Stealth Rock, of course, it is my designated Stealth Rocker. Now I have Thunder Wave because mainly this thing forces a lot of switches. One of the main Pokemon that can come on this that is absolutely not Seismitoad, because I have Manaphy to deal with Seismitoad and a few others on the team to deal with that. One of the main Pokemon that can come in on this would be like Mew, would be Weezing, would even be Gyarados if he wants to, and Thunder Waving all of those would be great. I have Heavy Slam. It is my spammable move to be able to deal with Sylveon. It also just deals solid damage in general because it has to do with how heavy I am. And Thunder Punch is my last move. I opted for Thunder Punch over like Stone Edge or anything like that because I wanted a way of hitting regular Gyarados as well, just in case he brings regular Gyarados as opposed to Mega Gyarados. And the main reason that would be, though I definitely see him bringing Mega Gyarados over regular Gyarados, is because regular Gyarados beats Manaphy easier than Mega Gyarados does because of bounce and not taking super effective damage from the Energy Ball. But Thunder Punch allows me to deal with Talonflame. Even if Talonflame burns me, I'm not too worried because I can just Thunder Wave it, and then Manaphy eats a hit anyway and knocks it out with Scald. But Thunder Punch just allows me to deal with Gyarados as well as Talonflame without having to risk missing that Stone Edge would obviously do. And again, this Pokemon I want to Mega Evolve as quickly as possible, gain my resistances to Kyurem Stab, and then proceed to get up my Stealth Rock, and then just, you know, plow away at him with Heavy Slam. Thunder Wave is also really nice again because I can Thunder Wave and slow down Mew. I don't know if he'll bring Nasty Plot, Mew, or Stall Breaker. I have Pokemon for both. If it's Nasty Plot, I overwhelm him with Snorlax, Manaphy. Well, that also works for both sets. Manaphy can overwhelm Nasty Plot. It doesn't go down unless it's like +2 Life Orb Thunder or something like that. I'm pretty sure Manaphy even takes +2 Life Orb Thunderbolt. I'll show you the calc just to show you. Manaphy, I'm positive actually, just because it's so fat. Manaphy, Mew, and again Manaphy does overwhelm Stallbreaker Mew, which is the knockoff set. 50. So 252. Thunderbolt. Just to like give you reference. Yeah, actually, it could be a 2 KO if he's running like Life Orb and things like that. But even if he's Life Orb, he knocks himself out. Why is this careful? Yeah, it is a 2 KO. Oh wow, it's a 2 KO all the time. My bad. But in any case, I have ways of dealing with that. That's a lot easier to deal with actually. In fact, Thunder Wave beats that thing down. Snorlax eats a hit easily, even Aura Sphere or anything like that. Pretty much Aggron eats any hit from any variant of Mew, and I can Thunder Wave and slow it down. But yeah, I had this Pokemon so I can deal with Gyarados, so I can deal with Talonflame. As well as also eat up hits from Sceptile if needed. If it's special attacking Sceptile, Focus Blast does not knock me out. I can Thunder Wave that thing, I can Heavy Slam that thing for a hell of a lot of damage. Next up, we have Choice Scarf Garchomp. Now, I really want to Choice Scarf Garchomp because it outspeeds his fastest Scarfer that I could see him bringing, which would be Kyurem. So I want to be able to be faster than that. And I have Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Rock Slide, and Outrage. I have Rock Slide because I don't want to miss versus Talonflame. I do not want to miss at all, so I'm not running Stone Edge, and it just gives me a move that I can use versus a regular Gyarados or Talonflame without having to go for like Outrage and confuse myself or miss a regular Stone Edge. Just enough speed for Kyurem, max attack, and the rest is put into Spadef, which allows me to take something on like Nasty Plot Lucario better, which also it might be a little bit that my Aggron can't necessarily touch that, but I do have Thunder Wave to slow that thing down. If it's Agility, if it's Swords Dance, I slow it down. And Manaphy does outspeed it, which is also pretty important. But Garchomp, just a bulky Pokemon, being able to outspeed Kyurem. I have Dragon Claw, and I have Outrage for late game cleaning if I need to. Next up, we have Hardbody, my Calm Mind Reuniclus. Now, this week we're bringing Cobra Berry just in case he actually brings Nasty Plot Lucario. I'm more scared of Nasty Plot than I am of Swords Dance, and Swords Dance does not knock out Garchomp or Kyurem or Manaphy with priority, whereas Nasty Plot, if it gets a little bit lucky, it can deal with Garchomp. If I have to switch directly into Garchomp, for example, if I switch into an Aura Sphere and then he Nasty Plots later, Vacuum Wave knocks me out, and Vacuum Wave has a chance to KO Kyurem at +2 with a Life Orb. But I wanted a Cobra Berry Reuniclus. It also lets me take a last-ditch effort hit from Gyarados, but this is mainly for Lucario, not my Gyarados check. It is a check to Gyarados, but it's not meant for Gyarados necessarily. It's mainly for Lucario. Now, we're running Psychic, Calm Mind, Signal Beam, and Recover. Originally, I was thinking about using Psyshock because that deals with Calm Mind Sylveon better. However, I do have Aggron to deal with Sylveon, as well as Bandit Snorlax. And I did not want a bulk up. I did not want bulk up Talonflame, like Spadef bulk up Talonflame, to be annoying, and I wanted to be able to hit it on a side that I definitely would be harder as he's bulking up. So like I can Calm Mind up alongside him and hit him for about 50% after a Calm Mind, maybe around 44 to something, 49% for a 2 KO. Basically a 2 KO if he Brave Birds me. And we're running enough defense. This lets me take on Lucario, but I'm running 60 Spadef because this lets me Calm Mind up alongside Specs Sylveon. I'll show you the calc. Reuniclus, Hardbody, Sylveon, Call you Choice Specs. This also lets me take on Kyurem Black better as well as Sceptile. But that's Specs Sylveon does 7184. So if I Combined up once, on a switch into Sylveon, he's only doing 48 to 57. Which means if I get up a second Combine, it doesn't 2 KO. Well, it depends on rolls. I can stall him out and recover. It's mainly to just be able to take that thing on. Just be able to take on Sceptile better as well, special attacking Sceptile as well as Kyurem. I want to be able to Combine up alongside them in order to eat them up. In order to eat up their hits. As you can see, this is doing 42 max, and this is doing 57 max. So that combined is what, like 99. So he cannot knock me out at all with 2 Hyper Voices unless he crits. And this is Modest Sylveon, so I'll be able to Combine up and then recover off basically the damage, and allows me to take on Sceptile as well as being able to take on Kyurem if he wants to bring Specs Kyurem. Reuniclus also checks Hitmonchan, it checks Weezing, it can beat Mew. I wanted Signal Beam over Focus Blast because I did not want to be forced out versus Spiritomb, assuming he's not running Calm Mind Spiritomb or anything like that. Obviously Manaphy overwhelms that just because of the boost that I have, but I did not want to run Focus Blast, and one, I would miss it anyway. Like, why do I even use that move? I would miss it anyway. And 2, Signal Beam gives me the coverage of Mew, Mega Gyarados, and Spiritomb, whereas Focus Blast only would allow me to hit Mega Gyarados, but I would miss out on coverage on Mew, and I would also not be able to touch Spiritomb at all, which is why I wanted Signal Beam over that. Though it is weaker, it definitely is weaker. It's just mainly a way to touch them, not necessarily sweep or knock them out. Last but not least, we have my boy Beatdown, the Kyurem Black. Now, this time we're running a Hone Claw set. I decided for Hone Claw's physical because his team gets absolutely destroyed by this. Plus, when Iron Head knocks out Sylveon, Fusion Bolt deals with Gyarados as well as Talonflame, and Dragon Claw literally hits everything else. Now, Habanberry is so I can take a Scarf Draco from Kyurem, a regular Kyurem, and even a Modest Scarf Draco I take 100% after Stealth Rock because I am running 52 Spadef. So 52 Spadef and Habanberry mean that Modest Scarf Draco from Kyurem does 74% max, and then if it's Specs Kyurem, we speed tie. Well, we speed tie. We're both the same speed, so yeah, that is what it is. But I obviously can take a hit from it. I'll show you the calc. Kyurem Black, beat down, and then we have Kyurem. So I was thinking about different sets that I wanted to use, and like this is Scarf. This is Scarf. Scarf doing, let's scroll up a little bit. This is all the calcs from Scarf. Max Timid, that's Timid Scarf. Now, Modest Scarf is doing, I believe, 74% max. This is Modest Scarf. Yep, 74% max, so it does not knock me out after rocks. And this is how much my Dragon Claw does to him naturally, without a boost. 88 to 105. So if I have Stealth Rock up, or if I got any damage on him at all, I knock him out. And obviously after Hone Claw, I 100% knock him out. And let's show you Specs Kyurem. Why am I not just giving it a Choice Specs? It's literally right here. See, Specs Kyurem can knock me out through Haban, but Specs Kyurem, Timid Nature Specs Kyurem, which is the one that would speed tie with me, has a 12.5% chance to knock me out through Habanberry. That's Timid Kyurem. That's the one that speed ties me. Modest Kyurem knocks me out more of the time than 12.5%, obviously. It's 93 to 111, so it's 68% chance to knock me out. However, I am faster than Modest Kyurem, and I can knock that thing out with Dragon Claw. So that's pretty much going to be the team. I like it. It looks really fun. I really wanted to use Facade Snorlax. I feel like Facade Snorlax is going to be so cool. The great thing about Snorlax is that Body Slam can go both ways versus Mew. Yes, I can get the para, but Synchronize also paralyzes me, which means I don't even have to be burnt. Though, being burnt might not be terrible because then I don't have to risk being full para'd, and I can just spam Facade anyway. But just things like that. Like, I feel like the team is made well enough to take on Luke. He did tell me he was going to bring some funky stuff, so I was a little bit scared. Or not scared, but I was like, okay, what are you talking about? But in any case, guys, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed. The battle will be up, I think, Saturday at 2 p.m. I think that's the slot that's left that we took. But I hope you guys all enjoyed. Of course, feel free to leave your thoughts down below. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Goodbye, friends.